Okay, wait for notifications to come in. Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Hi, people. If you could hear us or see us, please leave a comment. Let us know where you're joining us from. I have Tony BA, Tony Arriagada here with me on this LinkedIn live session. It's been a minute. Yeah, and we're coming here to talk about business analysis. So Tony's a BA. Just like I am, but we're also going to be talking about the future of Africa as well. So, and how business analysis is important for the future of Africa. So if you can see us or hear us, please leave a comment. Let us know where you're joining us from. Happy to have you here at this wonderful afternoon. Okay, so let's get started. I'd like you to introduce yourself to us. Tony, let's get to know a bit more about you.
Hey.
So the viewers can get to know who's Tony.
Yeah. So I'm Tony, the BA. Arriagada, right? That's my trade. I am basically a BA, and I started my journey with a development company. I started off as a developer, and then I seen that a lot of the work that was done with the client was, the most impactful information. So I said, okay, maybe I need to switch to business because I have a technical mind and I know how to translate that, to the developers and the business. Why not just go into a role like that? So I started my role as a IT business analyst, entry level, and then I went to Lockheed Martin, which is, the government contractor for aerospace and, the jets that you see out there and whatnot, but mainly on the technology side. So I spent my time there, and then later, I got picked up by Delta Dental, and I'm currently with Delta Dental Insurance Company, which, my role currently is the enterprise level business analyst. So I have a more of the robotic process automation background. I'm a developer for that. So I have, a lot of those responsibilities. And as a business analyst, I'm able to see things from a developer side, the technical BA more so than a business BA. So in my role today, I just partner with different areas of the business to, create those opportunities and efficiencies, immediately.
Awesome. Awesome. You're more of a technical BA right now. That's really what you're doing. With RP. Interesting. Do you see robotics process automation becoming sort of a very sort of a niche of business analysis that's going to be in high demand very soon?
Well, yes, and soon it has already arrived.
Right.
Right. Say that because right now, and on Forbes, the UiPath or the technologies just in general are in demand, especially during this pandemic. With individuals being laid off or individuals having too much work, robotic process automation is being used to automate those mundane processes that stops them from doing things at the computer all day, the same tasks, same elements. And the bot, what it does is incorporates all of that scope of work or parts of that work where it comes in two flavors: the attended and unattended. Attended is where someone triggers it, and unattended is where someone may, put something into a queue, and then the bot will notice and say, I have something, and then it will process that work without you telling it what to do. So to answer your question, I think where we're going in the market globally is more towards hyper automation, where it includes not just RPA, but machine learning, NLP, and some other technologies that can enhance artificial intelligence in itself. And right now it's being deemed as a hyper automation. So you'll see that coin phrase throughout the industry.
Interesting. Okay, so Tessini, thank you for joining us. Ubonk, Clement, Tiffany, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments. We would try our best to answer your questions. Okay, so let's talk about, the role of business analysis. Why is business analysis important in general, right? So a lot of people who are not business analysts, they see and hear people like you and I, raving about business analysis and how amazing and fantastic it is, and and helping other people, to get into this fantastic career path. So why is it important? Why is business analysis important? First of all, why is it important?
Well, business analysis is important for these reasons. Early in the industry, the gap was identified that, okay, the IT or whoever was producing a solution, there was a communication gap between, okay, the business wants you to create a product, and then the developer is saying, okay, we're going to make you that product, but the business thinks that it's supposed to be up here, but the developer said it's about right here.
Yeah.
And that's what they're getting. And so now, as time, begins to pass, you have those project managers who are more of, okay, are we on schedule and budget and all these things, but who's communicating truly those requirements from the business and giving them back to the person who's developing that solution in order to close that gap. And so I see business analysis or business analysts as being the if you ever watched the movie Matrix, remember, I forgot which Matrix it was. I think it was the second or third, where they had the guy with all the keys, like this, and he had to open the door so he can go through the virtual portal, right? So I believe that BAs and business analysis is very important because we are the key barriers to unlocking that efficiency or the potential for the business growth. And if you don't have the right key or the right business analyst on the job, you can't unlock that door. You have to go to another door because this one is totally, a fail. So without that connection to bridge that gap, the importance of business analysis is so important that without that closing the gap, you'll see more failures, and thus you have other frameworks that are being developed because of those failures too. So it's business analysis is primary for being able to make that translation. And I'll do the last analogy, but I love it, right? It's just like if you have zeros and ones, like people imagine computers, on the movies, they say, oh, this hacker is communicating with zeros and ones, right?
Right.
And, so the business is giving us this language, and the developers, they don't understand it, but you have to decrypt all of the language and what they're really trying to say. That's the business. And maybe you have to do a mock-up as a business, and that is your requirement. But whatever the requirement is, if it's on a piece of napkin, write that requirement down. Make sure it's done right. And confirm it. Did you come back and confirm this requirement? And then, give it to the developer. They'll pull it out and be like, okay, well, it has snot on it, but I think I know what this is, right? So, that's why it's important.
That analogy is, but the truth is, you can actually write down a requirement on a napkin. That's for real.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for real. But I like the analogy of, the BA being the person, holding those keys, right? I like the key analogy as well. And that's really the truth, bridging the gap between, business and technology, understanding both sides and being a great communicator and communicating to both sides and ensuring that, we achieve the business goals. So, so someone is asking, how do I kickstart a career as an IT business analyst? So the person is asking. Collins from Dublin is asking.
To be an IT business analyst, first you have to have the core business analyst skill set, right?
First of all,
which is very, very important, because this, I don't care what career you go into, now the BA skill set has transformed in such a way, it's no longer like a type of methodology or that's defined in the BABOK. It's really a skill set that you must come into most roles with. And if you don't have it, anything you go into from there on will be, total, you'll find most of your challenges there. BA skill sets, do you have it? Do you know how to talk to the customer? Do you know how to get back these requirements, right? Exactly. And so the other part, the IT part, I would stress finding a capability that you want to what you said, nurture. That's the word. Right. So nurture. And some people are into like SaaS or Salesforce or AI or whatever the case, but find that one thing that you know how to do well, whether it's access databases, I don't care what it is.
Exactly.
You focus on that for a while and watch your other opportunities open up from there. Because talent is not when you have just one talent. As a BA, you have to be able to do several different things. So when you start with that focus as an IT business analyst, first the BA, let that be your core, the business analysis training, and then you start getting into the other technologies that people are learning, meaning you may have to just take a training course over the fundamental part of that application, because most jobs, when you go apply for a job, it will have descriptions of what they need to learn. So if you see that there's a trend out there that you're following, I'm looking for roles and the criteria is having this technology and that technology. So whatever the technology is, see what's trending and what they're requiring, and you learn just that incrementally until you get it. But it will open up doors once you master that, that first technology.
Awesome, fantastic. So Collins, I hope you heard that. And everything that Tony has shared is so true. You need to master the business analysis skill set first. That's your foundation. Once you know how to actually play the role of a BA, then you can choose to specialize in a certain part of IT, just like Tony has shared with you. So I hope you already know your areas of strength, and you can definitely work with that. Wishing you all the best. All right, so let's talk about business analysis and the future of Africa, right? So this is a topic you're passionate about, and it's something that you're excited about. So how can business analysis impact the future of Africa? How is this possible?
Well, first, we're gonna jump back in history and time.
Okay.
Like me, I love the culture of having openness and courage, and they have the inclusion and being able to have real discussions. Like, we understand that we have ancient legacy, not tribal legacy, but ancient legacies, right? Yeah. And with that legacy that we have as Africans in the diaspora, or Africans from Africa that are away or living in Africa, we all have to come to a consensus on the future of Africa. And then everybody else join in to say, okay, how we can, help Africa. But first, I think, for the future of Africa, there are so many opportunities, so many. I can't even name them all. But the first thing that I have in my mind as it pertains to Africa, that we have a lot of the resources that are being used in these technologies that everyone is coming up with, like cobalt, and different type of rubber, plastics, whatever the industry. So what I see as a BA coming into these corporations that are opening up all over Africa. And speaking to Nigeria, just quickly, I'm in love with. There was a guy that I used to follow back in the day, Philip Awugali, who was like he built
the mathematician, right?
Supercomputer, right? For the like that guy was like my hero. Right? I was like, yeah, man, I love it, right? So the thing is that there's so many industries that are opening up and untapped markets that BAs normally don't have a role in those type of projects. So I think the future, as we move toward the future, technology is going to enhance, and there's going to be so many enhancements that's going to engulf the world. But in Africa, I believe in the future there's going to be a technology that we could create like that is home based in Africa, and it will help with the agriculture, where it's more like tech and going into those processing minerals or processing rubber processing that needs to take place in order to produce or feed individuals. So you'll see markets that you really don't have that is really big here in the States, but it may be really big in Africa. So
true.
As a BA, I'm looking at all of these opportunities, and there has to be some type of technology that brings this solution or whatever's being developed into fruition. And so when I say there's going to be major opportunities for BAs in Africa, for those who are away from Africa or living in Africa at this time, it's highly important for you to gain that skill set, because the expectation is, okay, you have to have all of these degrees. Our parents want to push us, get all these degrees, giving benefit to everybody. But we need to bring that back home so we can still we can bring some of that benefit back home, because there's some technologies that we may be able to help with that have changed the world entirely, right? So as a BA, regardless of who you are in Africa, it's going to be the core essential thing that will transcend Africa to the next powerhouse, just like how India and China is. I guarantee you. Mark my words. You're hearing it live, and you're gonna see it in the near future.
But the thing, Tony, is so when I started like with my business analysis career, back in Nigeria, a lot of people, it wasn't, even till now, it wasn't like the most popular thing, and people like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not like it's engineering or accounting or medicine, the most popular things that our parents want us to study. And for a lot of people are like, is there really any future for this? Like, why would you go invest in getting business analysis courses and training and certification and all that? Because they don't really see the need for a business analyst, and it really starts with the sensitization of why we need business analysts, really. Because the truth is, why a lot of our projects are failing is because we don't exactly have business analysts on the projects.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and they have to, the individuals who run those businesses, they have to look, and I think it's more of an education of what's going on in the market outside of Africa. That we need to ensure that we can stay competitive, with a global market. And the way that needs to be done, in my opinion, is that with these companies, they need to identify, once they do the analysis of, okay, what are we missing? What kind of staffing alignment that we need to have with the company? And then with that being said, what roles do we need? What job families do we need? And that will enable us, keyword, enable us to not fail in these projects. Because project managers, I apologize if you have a PMP. I'm not against, before I make this thing, I got to give the disclosure. Project manager, we love you. Shoot to our heart. Yeah, I am a VA. And I'm also, into Scrum. I'm big on Agile, and I've been a Scrum Master and a product owner and manager, right? But the core thing, in all of these things, all of these roles is business analysis. I don't care what anyone says. Say, oh, a product owner, what do you do? Do you define requirements? Yes, I do. You're a BA. You stop. I mean, and that's why, look, and that's why I say that, you know, the business analysis is so important, because you can retitle the name and call it whatever. But if you're doing any of these skill sets or techniques that's in a BABOK, or things that you may have created that gathers requirements, then those are BA skill sets. So going into the future of Africa, if we look at whatever market, whether it's tourism, oil, or agriculture, or whatever it is, a tech, we have to somehow push the education. Sometimes it's the more important to have it pushed on the internet. And, you know, like most people, even here in the States, I know it has to be different in Africa, because if they don't understand it here, I know they don't understand it there. You know, it's coming on. It's like business analysis has been here. So,
right.
Like, right. And it's really important for us to stay in the modern times. So even all of us who are away from Africa, we need to, you know, disseminate information the way that you are doing it, you know. And I have to give applause to you, because I love what you represent, and I love what you're doing for other individuals, and it shows that you're selfless, you know, and all the efforts that you do. And then and this is part of the work that we need to do with Africa and its future, because you're showing the exact example. If you came to Canada and you basically had, you know, nothing, right? And when I say nothing, that's your definition, not mine. You weren't a BA. When you got here, you weren't a BA. Is that correct?
No, I actually was from Nigeria, but it wasn't the most popular thing in Nigeria. Unlike here, where you would actually go on like Indeed or LinkedIn and see, oh, we need 5 BAs on a project here. You know, we're looking for a BA with this skill set. It wasn't anything like you see in Nigeria. And even till now, there isn't that high demand for business analyst roles till date. Yeah. So it wasn't like I was having the fun that I was expecting to have in my career, really.
Even me. Even me, like I came into this role not knowing anything. When I first got into a BA, what am I going to do? You know,
everybody has that experience. Everybody.
What's next? You know? So it's really important for us to have that focus on educating, more so, because it's not just Africa is not exempt. It's in here in the States too, like because even in the companies, all the companies that I work for the exception of, well, maybe Lockheed Martin too, like all the companies that I've known, they focus the BA work as being someone who manipulates reports. I'm like, huh? That's it? No, that's not a BA. So what a true BA is a person who can use all of these skill sets, these techniques and approaches, and get you to think and ask those questions. If a BA is not asking questions,
those questions.
How are you a BA?
Why are we doing it?
I'm my crayon. I'm just notes. Hold on, let me flip the head. Is that good enough? Oh no, that's not good enough.
I like Bookie's comments. Bookie said, she said, hey, not only because there's no BA on the project, because BAs don't spend enough time analyzing. Bad analysis equals to project failure. You can find a BA carrying out Scrum Master, PO, PM, DM roles. That's the challenge. So that's also another challenge too. So
but look, if people want to not say the BA name, okay, call me a product manager or a product owner. You know, I'll be the product owner. You'll be the best product owner because you have the BA skill set. I guarantee you'll be like superb. You'll walk into any of those positions once you're trained and get a little experience. I guarantee you'll outdo most persons who are walking into that role as a BA. Trust me when I tell you. So it's mind-boggling. you have to admire the willingness of individuals, like, because my wife is from Ethiopia. Let me just tell you that.
Oh, nice.
And, speaking of Africa,
pretty nose.
And she is she's always telling me, like when her parents first came here, they came here. Over there they were doctors, but over here it was like, just regular operational work, right?
Yeah.
That everyone else is doing, right? But they had to grow into what they wanted to be, their new vision here in the States. So I always admire all of the things that they had to succumb in order to not only get here, and then when they arrive, there's other battles that you have to, go through. And so the challenges of our environment sometimes impact our career decisions.
For
right?
sure, definitely.
A lot of times. And so, like, I see in Africa, just how everything, is developing right now, and it's moving fast, but we can move even faster. And if you haven't noticed, and I know you're gonna laugh at this, that because of COVID-19, bless those families who had problems, who may have loved ones, pass away. But because of this pandemic, it has forced people to get online, forced people to use the technology. Now they're saying, oh, well, we had these mundane processes with this company, now let's see how we can go online and automate this or do this, or we need, now the opportunity is here for BAs to now define their roles in different parts of Africa, to say, hey, well, now that you're online, I've been waiting for this.
This is my moment.
This is my moment to tell you. Whenever you present something as a BA, let me just tell you, if you're going to present opportunities, you say, you always bring data. Do not bring up a discussion to a problem if you don't have the solution.
Yes.
So and back it with data. Well, I've been noticing on all the projects that you've been developing, this is your failure rate, and this is where you're failing. You're failing in delivery, specifically. What I noticed in the trend, and also in the reports in these business areas. I'm also noticing that the time it takes to do this case is 20 minutes, and then everybody has a different process, and it's not really defined, right?
Right.
You have to use the analysis of reviewing data and then translate, hey, but these are opportunities. What will be the game plan, or who do we need to include in the conversation to have this discussion to kind of, talk about the future, right? So you can't be a weak BA, especially when it's not known. You got to come in like knowing your stuff and telling them.
You've got to be strong. You got to be strong.
Yeah.
This begs the question. So I was thinking about this earlier today as well, and I was thinking, a lot of people are, moving into the business analysis career path, even though, like, in places in Africa where there isn't a lot of high demand for BAs, there's more demand for developers and programmers and database analysts, system analysts, but not like a lot of demand for the business analysts, right? How can BAs sort of pitch themselves, get out there and sort of showcase themselves to a lot of these companies that don't exactly have a business analysis team, like they don't actually practice business analysis, and it's also affecting their project successes. How can we as business analysts, how can we sort of pitch ourselves and showcase ourselves and tell them, hey, you need us, we're here to help you achieve success, right? In your projects. How can we do this?
All right, so pitching yourself as in wanting to get hired, and then also when you're on projects. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I'm doing my BA stuff right now, right?
Right. Ask the questions. Clarify.
But I just want to confirm the requirement. When you're in a role, say somebody does not have a BA background, And let me tell you how to transition the BA work. Yeah. Now, what you need to find out is what does it take to be a BA. So people said, oh, I was a tech support. I didn't do any BA work. Why not? Right. Why didn't you do any BA work? And then I started to translate to them like what a BA is. Okay, when you pulled up that tech support ticket, you were trained on certain requirements that would either make this ticket a SEV 1, a SEV 2, or a SEV 3, right? Severity level. Okay, so those are requirements that are described in your training that says, okay, with the requirement, you know, these are business rules, right? And the business rule is that if there's 1 or 2 tickets, it's a SEV, you know, because that's the lowest level, you could say it like that. And then whatever the other severity levels are defined, all of those have requirements. So you can translate your history by saying, I had to gather requirements. You're on the phone. Hold on, let me get my headset. Where's my headset? You know, I'm pulling out the bag here. So you have your headset, and you were requirement gathering requirements. You're on the phone, and you're saying, okay, so is your computer on? Right. So you're detailing all of the foundational things that you need to ask first, and then you're confirming back to them if you're seeing their screen, or if, and they are confirming with you their issues. And once you can identify the problem, you say there's the gap. So you're doing work, and now you have to translate that language and say, hey, on my job role, I define the requirements to these severity levels or whatever. I'm just making up stuff. And I was able to communicate with the customer to get their buy-in and we confirmed the requirement. And then once we agreed, you know, then that's when, you know, I help them with the solution. Everything is about that process, right? So you take your tech hat off and technical support or whatever you should do, whether it's retail. I had BAs who worked with me who were working in the retail market. They knew nothing about business analysis. They were making like 30,000 US, and now they're making 90,000 US. Major lifestyle change and everything, right?
Of course, definitely.
And it's all about making that transition. So that's pitching yourself to the market, knowing how to translate business analysis, find out what we do as BAs, and then translate how those same things can be identified from. It's not like you're lying, but you're using those skill sets, and you use the word skill sets.
Yeah,
that you're, you know, how you're getting this information. Now, for those, if you are in a market already, and say you're in a role and you want to become a BA, is one thing, or you're a BA and you want to show the project that why there is some importance to business analysis. These are two different things, but I'll start with the latter first. You're on a project, and you notice that the project manager or whoever's running this project, they keep failing at the requirements. And the red flag for noticing that they're failing on the project is when you have two different understandings from the business and from the person who's developing the solution, right? And so whoever is in the position to, I would say on a director level, or however the leadership is set up, whoever's creating the solution, what I would do to step out and challenge yourself is like, can I help you? How can I help? I can help you. If you had to start off with notes, go ahead, start off say, I just want to take notes for you, right? You know, do those things to open up the opportunities, and also to show people that you can take the lead to help push the project along as a liaison. Let me be the liaison. That's the other word for BA, right? Right. And you go in there and you show them why. First, you show. Don't tell them what a BA is. You do, and then you tell them what the title is, or what the skill set is, and then you can easily. That's one way of getting the business to do things for you, and understand how to writing requirements. You know, you have your functional requirements, your non-functional requirements. This is where a lot of failure comes into. That I think is whether you're writing a user story in Agile, As a user, I want to, so that I can, whatever the value is. To create value in your role, you have to master writing requirements. And when you hear a requirement, knowing the difference between a wish list, a business rule, a functional requirement, and a non-functional requirement.
Exactly. There's always a wish list that they want, but we're not doing it for them, right? Not gonna happen.
When you hear wish list, what it really means is scope creep, technical debt, and things that will put your project behind. So
exactly.
Oh, it will be great if we could just have this. Is this part of the agreed solution? Because if it's not a part of the agreed solution, it's not that we can't do it. Hold on. I'm not communicating that we can't do it. I'm just saying, why not have it in a further release? Let's plan for it. Let's really make it robust and nice, right?
Right.
And, that's how you bring things into fruition. So as a BA, you always have to constantly think of how you can use your abilities to show your value. The voice of the customer. You are the voice.
Exactly.
So you're listening. That's why we call it the voice of the customer. Even a product role in the Scrum Guide, you are the voice of the customer. They don't want to come out and say BA. No, product owner. You're writing the requirements. You have to do a mock-up. That's a requirement. I've done every requirement named on the book. The national one was one of them. Good.
Wow. Amazing. A lot of the stuff you're saying, really, really resonates with, a lot of things that I've experienced, things that I've also shared with a lot of people. But I've had a lot of people like come into my DMs and they're like, well, I don't know if I should really I'm in this role right now. Maybe I'm doing customer support and I would really, really love to, be a BA, but I'm scared because there's not a lot of demand for BAs here, in Nigeria, in Africa, wherever they are. And, say I take my training and all that, and I get stuck in, getting a business analyst role because there's not a lot of demand, So a lot of people they want to transition to business analysis, but they have this fear of, because there's not a lot of demand for business analyst roles. And most of the business analyst roles they're mostly like maybe technical specialist roles. They feel they wouldn't really get those jobs. And that's also reducing the number of people that actually want to move into business analyst roles. That's what I find.
Well, I'm going to quote some statistics that the IBA gave in one of their survey analyses. I think about a year back in 2019, they stated the demand for the job market was about 300,000. I'm giving you a rough order estimate, maybe 380 or something like that. And they said for the year 2020, I don't think they expected COVID to happen. They said the demand will be up 2.5 million versus the 300,000. That's a big jump. And it actually has jumped because of the pandemic. So now is the vital time. And I think what people get stuck at is the title of business analysis.
Exactly.
So again, let me go back and I say, stop looking for BA, like business analyst, like title. If you can look in the description and it sounds like a BA, it is definitely a BA.
Exactly.
A functional analyst, a product owner, product manager. Look, I'm telling you, just focus on the titles and look at the descriptions. Don't focus on so much what the title is, but look at the description of the function and find business analysis in those roles. So if you see anything, type the word analyst. Just see what you find, in any job search. And then pull up those job descriptions, and I guarantee you'll be able to identify something. And don't get stuck on being called a BA. It's a skill set. So stop being.
It's a mindset and a skill set. Like seriously, it's a mindset and a skill set. It's not about the title. And I keep saying this all the time to a lot of people. Stop getting stuck on the title, right? You see, product owner, product manager. It's still a business analyst role, right? Stop getting stuck on the titles, requirement analyst, functional analyst, operations analyst, or fraud analyst, or Salesforce analyst, or SAP, blah blah blah. Like all that stuff, you know, all that stuff, you know, it's all business analysis. When you look at the job description, you're going to be facilitating the workshops with stakeholders, getting the requirements, documenting them, you know, working with the technical team, you know, ensuring solution delivery, writing out training manuals. Tell me, who does that except from a BA?
Look, let me tell you how simple this is. And we got to stop confusing things, you know, as people. Like the human, the mind works very different. Say you're the person, you're the human, and there are all these cars, but you keep telling us you want to drive a Hyundai. Okay, but you're still driving the same way. You're still getting off on X31 to go to where you need to go.
Right.
So no matter what car you choose, whether it's a Lamborghini or a Bugatti or whatever it is,
right,
you're still going the same way. It's
exactly.
different roles. You have different roles, but you're doing the same thing.
You're doing the same thing.
Yes.
You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. So, you know, don't get hung up on the job titles, you know, your past, present, future. You know, it's really the job description. It's really the job description and what you do every day on your role. And, you know, just like you said, a lot of people would come to me and say, I never had any BA experience. I'm like, okay, tell me about what you do in your role. And then they start talking about everything that they do. And I'm like, okay, this is requirements gathering. Okay, this is requirement analysis. This is early citation. All right. Okay. This is requirement validation. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Go watch this, you know, this video. Go watch this 30-minute, 1-hour video. And then they come back and like, wow, everything that I heard is what I do every day in my job. I'm like, yeah, because you're a business analyst. So don't come to me and tell me I have 0 years of experience in business analysis. You do not. You have 5 years, you have 7 years or whatever, right? You just need to look at what you do every day, like you said, and, you know, take out the business analysis you know, out of it, and, you know, you're good to go regardless of your title. We're all practicing business analysis.
You know, and that brings up a point, because I've seen some VAs who are like by the book, and when you have incorporated the agile mindset, you know, it's really important for us to start thinking that non-bureaucratic. Like, don't be that person to say, okay, well, the rule says we have to do it like this or else. You know, you have to have some adaptive. That's why the ACC certification was created, because sometimes as people who are analysts, very technical people, we can be, you know, retentive on the things that, you know, what the requirement says, design exactly the requirement. But we have to allow ourselves the ability to open up in the process. Okay, we gather the requirements, and then it's not done like the business, you know, how the business would like it. So they want to do it this way, and then, but you're saying, well, in business analysis, you're supposed to do this, that, and the third. I get it. You mean well. But what I want you to do is to be able to transform and adapt to your environment, and you may have to cherry pick or leave out some things in order to make the right solution, in order to stay quick, you know, on how to develop a solution. So that's what happened to me. I came into a point of my life, like I think it was like 4 years ago, where all of that merged. I had the agile, I had the business analysis. Everything was like, okay, so how do I merge all of these things? Yeah, you know, I was like, oh, but the requirement, and then I started to, oh, but the agile mindset, and it kind of took a lot of stress off of me. And I love working in those environments where we have the ability to be creative outside the box, and using those techniques in business analysis. You may have to storyboard. Stop thinking that you always have to write your requirements, you know, on a piece of paper in words. I storyboarded, you know, solutions out, you know, just doing a step-by-step storyboard with a person or a stick man doing like this, picking up something or typing at the computer. You know, it's opening up.
Right.
Being able to translate that in words if you have to do so later. So I think as business analysts that I've seen out there, we're so caught up in the day-to-day that sometimes we lose ourselves and forget that we need growth. We need mental growth. We need health, growth, and also the growth in how we produce for the business. So in order to and stay innovative, do not close your doors. You're the key. How the hell do you have your closed doors? You know,
right.
So you gotta unlock your potential now.
Right. That's so true. So you are the keys as as BAs, and everything you shared. Like I really resonate with that. With regards to companies that haven't really adopted business analysis into the way they handle their projects. They don't have like a business analysis team, that team of rock stars that are really helping to ask questions, analyze things, ask the right questions. Why are we doing this? Who are the stakeholders? What are our customers saying? What are our competitors doing? Right? The people that are asking those questions for companies who haven't really imbibed business analysis, and I hope, influencers in any of these companies get to see, this video and this session. What would be your advice for them in regards to adopting business analysis to actually drive better business decisions, especially for companies in Africa?
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how the business is in Africa, but I do know my family members through my wife's family, how they do business, and whatnot.
So like Emmanuel. So
I know, right? But I could say that the BABOK, is I call it the Bible for business analysis.
It is our Bible. It is
but go ahead.
It is our Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Bible of business analysis.
Oh yeah.
And you have to learn some structure first before you can, open up the doors for solutions. And not having that foundation, you'll cripple yourself. Like literally, you're halfway doing business analysis, and then and you just don't listen to me and say, okay, you got to be creative. First, you got to get that core, right? And in order to present any solutions, part of any project, when you're a person trying to or having challenges with developing a solution and communicating with individuals or stakeholders, first of all, some of the questions you want to ask yourself is like, who do I need, in this meeting, right? I'm just giving you an example. And with that, there may be some individuals that you may not need who are just there, to just listen. And when you notice that, you have to like modify your stakeholder list of who needs to be in those meetings where you can gather those requirements. But once you get those initial requirements, in order to go to solutionize what you do, you may have to go through iterations of defining requirements, confirming, define, confirm, and whatever the case, you may see that the business may going down a road that is going to be damaging to the solution more than it is actually creating a solution that are totally resolved. Because I've seen people put bad solutions on top of bad processes, right?
Ooh.
So, and this is like an example. So if you have a bad process, how in the heck are you going to put a solution into place thinking that it's going to fix the problem and it's really only a patch? The root cause, if you're a BA, you're doing a root cause analysis on what the issue is first. That's a part of your, defining the current state. And understanding those requirements and the things that are happening, finding that root cause will tell you what your future should be, because you're going to have to ask the questions, okay, in order to mitigate this, now that I know the root cause, what is the action plan to prevent this from happening in the future, right? Those are all skill sets that you may not think BAs do, right? So now, you're not the expert. I've seen BAs who try to talk over SMEs or experts.
Oh yeah. Well, common thing you see. A BA wants to know everything and do everything, right? You know, you're not.
Like, look, I may have experience. Look, one thing I can say is I'm an expert in RPA. I can say that because I'm the developer, right? But I'm not going to say what the solution is if I'm not developing the actual work, right?
Right.
So I'll say I'll give my recommendation, and then I'll let the people who are doing the work or developing the solution tell me what they think it should be, and then we'll kind of work together to make that happen. But
Sure.
and to cater that process, you must develop some creative ways, and this is why you have to take all the techniques in the BABOK and just study that. If you don't do nothing else, study the techniques of how to get these people to collaborate. And now if you're moving towards a solution, how do you solutionize? How do you get these things? So you get your options. So, okay, so the developers, and with your help, you facilitated meetings to brainstorm, another BA technique, to brainstorm, and you come up with these solutions and say, okay, so now let's prioritize. We storyboarded everything, so let's prioritize what needs to be done. Okay, we give this a 1, this is a 5, or whatever, or medium, high, or low, on the those MVPs, the minimal viable products, and whatever the case, you have to have some formalized way of how to come to a decision, because if you allow the people have too much discussion and no prioritization, then you'll see people bump heads based off of subjective views of point that may not be a good solution, because it's subjective things. There's no empathy of what the impact to the user will be, and then going towards that solution. Always have, you as the product owner, you're responsible to confirm these requirements. And part of confirming the requirement, you may have to do a observation, another BA technique, where you may do a time study, or you may do a visual observation. But whatever the case, you're confirming requirements, your understanding of how a process is supposed to work, or if you're following the requirements on the screen. In order to develop that interface, you got to visually look at these. You're confirming that, and then you're saying, okay, here are the results. This is the summary. This is how much time it took. Oh, this is what they use more. They really don't use this. And you'll be able to confirm the things that you knew early on, because you already identified the pain points from those early discussions. And then as you go into the solution, all of that pre-work that you did will help validate what your future states to be. So as a BA work is very important, because the tactical things that you need to do to build that solution come from you, because nobody else is going to do it. I guarantee the project manager will not perform observations. Product owner will not perform observations.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll storyboard. They'll storyboard for you, but they won't do those tactical things that BAs specifically know how to do. And ultimately, with the data and everything that you're doing, you're going to make a bright future for yourself, and you're going to make the company love you. Businesses should love BAs. In fact, let me give you this last scenario that happened here in the States, and I'm going to call the company name out. I know you know who you are because you were public. So Home Depot fired all of their BAs.
No way.
Adopted Agile. And say, okay, everybody's agile. We're having all these scrum teams. This is great. Yeah. We're gonna, be the most agile. We're gonna move to the future. Home Depot. Yeah. And guess what happened? They started failing on delivery. And they noticed the product owners, none of them knew how to write requirements.
Right.
Or use the stories of that. So they hired back the BAs. And now the BAs are helping them to improve the solution by writing the right requirements and the driving the process to where it needs to be. So
this is why business analysis, skill set as a foundation is so key before you decide to pivot into, being a product owner or a scrum master, or, whatever. But, the business analysis skill set is so, so key. And the BAs, in an organization, they're powerful, they're like the Power Rangers, is how I like to picture a business analyst on my slides, because because that's who they are. They're powerful people.
Right.
I tell a lot of people who are trying to transition into business analysis, like you really don't know how much power you have until you find yourself in that project setting, and you realize that your work is so key. What you do feeds into everything. And that's why business analysts should have like systems thinking. They should be systems thinkers, because everything you do feeds into everything in the organization. So see everything as a whole and not in parts as a BA. So I have two questions here. Someone says, as business analysts, what is the risk of losing jobs to AI?
Good question. I love it. Good question. I want to answer
it. Okay. So that's the first question.
All right. As BAs, the risk is, and I'm gonna put it in percentage. It's like 30%. So the risk is 30% because we're producing more opportunities rather than losing them. So I wouldn't feel. And let me tell you why this is important, because I'm a BA on an artificial intelligence project and whatnot, right? And the most important part for artificial intelligence or any AI, RPA, machine learning, there has to be a BA up front to document the requirements. Still, it doesn't erase our role. My role is still to do those requirements and writing a certain documentation. Now, the format of the documentation may change, right? But it doesn't matter. You're still doing the same things to produce the same results. So I don't see the BA work. When I say 30%, I'm saying not just with BAs, but I'm saying like across the board, operational positions, anything. 30%. That's the the rate of which people will be losing their jobs, and then losing their jobs, mainly because there's a lot of different reasons to that. It may be just because the business wants to reduce headcount in the first place, but a lot of the things that are being done is not to reduce heads, but more so to create other opportunities, because they want you to focus on something else. That's what I've seen in the market as a trend, that the businesses are not being focused on reducing heads per se, but more towards how can we create opportunities and make these people more skilled in other areas.
Yeah.
Hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it did. And I like the way you answered it too.
I know we got 2 minutes here because I got another meeting.
Yeah, for sure. The second question is, which industries make the most use of business analysts? So basically, what industries have a higher demand for business analysts, basically?
Maybe I'm biased by saying this. The health industry.
I knew you were going to say healthcare, but how would I agree with you so much? Because I know you're in healthcare, but I don't really agree.
Yeah, but there's two of them that I like to choose. It's fintech, financial, and also health. And the reason why I say health, because I've been with Lockheed Martin. I was with Lockheed Martin before. I was in CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, HHS, HRSA, and a lot of other, projects. And they've always, anything that's, the key point is that everybody's going towards, this digital format. And the digital format is enabling across the board how things should be in the future. These positions are with fintech or whatever the market is. They're starting to realize that they need business analysts. So I don't want to confine it to a certain market, but I noticed that the tech industry, just in general, if you're a consultant, there are more BA roles in the tech industry and in health and in fintech, from my experience. But look at the statistics. Remember, never believe anything that I'm telling you. You're a BA. Go fact check it.
Right.
Do the check, and
We'll
then
confirm. Right.
But I'm telling you my experience of what I see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with, like technology, fintech, finance. There's a high demand for BAs. Oh wow, it's been fun. It's been an hour already, and it feels like we haven't even, it feels like we just started. Thank you so much, Tony. It's been great having you, on my fireside chat, and just really just talking about our passion for business analysis and why, we need more BAs in Africa, and why companies in Africa need to adopt business analysis, because we are the key. We are the key to success in our projects. Any final words?
Africa.
Bye. All right, guys.
I just need to come. I just want to kiss the ground when I arrive. Be like, I'm the BA. Tony the BA. Emo sent me. Kilo, it's me. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone who joined us. I hope you enjoyed this session, and you learned quite a number of things. Thank you so much, Tony. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.